Hi everyone, I'm Rihanna. All right, so the first question is, any tips for avoiding porn, explicit content on technology? So I didn't struggle with pornography, but I've had to really deal with what I do with my memories. I have a lot of memories from the past, and that to me has been one of the most lasting consequences of promiscuity. Was all that is so past, but like memories can crop up at any moment, and it's almost like it was yesterday. It's so crazy, even though it's so long ago I can't even remember. And so I've had to really learn how to deal with my memories not watching them,
Yeah.
And sometimes those memories are like unwanted, and sometimes they're wanted. It's a temptation to watch them because you're getting something from them. You're getting like a sense of comfort, or like, oh, I felt loved in that moment, or something like that. And I think that some of this can apply to people that feel tempted to watch porn.
Absolutely. Yeah.
When they're unwanted memories or unwanted feelings, I really ask God to help with that, because it's like a mental fight, and you can't really fight on your own strength. I remember this one time where not long ago, I think during the stresses of COVID-19 actually like amplified some of this struggle. And so these memories started to shoot in my brain, like very old, ancient memories. And one after another. And I was really trying to capture each thought, because these thoughts are not constructive to me, not constructive to my well-being. And Jesus, like what he wants for me is constructive for me and constructive for my well-being. And so I want what he wants. And so I just kept asking him to be over that and help me deal with it.
Right.
But I was getting really, really weary by that. And so, yeah, he helped me to like really focus on him in that. And because your mind wants to look at something when it's in that place.
Yeah.
And so instead of looking at those memories, I was looking at him really until that kind of intensity subsided.
Totally. I think that's so good for you to acknowledge, it's like explicit content or pornography. And of course there's like practical, tools and filters and, different things we can do. But I think it's so valuable that you recognize that your own memories and your own fantasies, your own mind can develop pornographic content that then can try to feed your soul, but it's actually poisons your soul. And gets you trapped into a cycle of lust and where you feel out of control. And that's a big piece is the fantasy of their mind. And they can do it through just like romantic movies or, even like romantic novels, either that has explicit content or they fill in the blank with their own imagination. It's not just about don't think about it, but rather to turn your eyes to the Lord to actually have something else to think about.
Yeah, for sure. And then the other side was the wanted memories. So that's a different battle altogether, because that's one that you're wanting, and so now you're struggling with your flesh, its desires. And for me, I just learned after enough trials that watching those memories don't get me anywhere good. Like they don't bring me to a place that I want to be, because they feed that and make the memories feel more recent, and then they feed discontentment. And as a single person, like all single people probably can connect with this, is that when there's times of contentment, singleness is great. There's a lot of benefits to singleness, and so we want to be in that place of contentment.
Yeah.
When there's times of discontentment, that's when the struggles happen. Like start longing for things that we don't have and looking to see that other people have it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. That's
and
really
so looking at those memories feed discontentment. And yeah, so when that happens, I really ask myself why I'm being tempted to look at that stuff. And it's usually because I have some kind of need in my heart. Like I'm not feeling connected. Somebody said that the times where people feel disconnect is when they're the most susceptible to weakness towards looking at porn or something like that. And so Yeah, and then all of those needs in my heart that I'm trying to seek to fill through this, I ask God to show how he's meeting those needs.
Yeah, that's so good.
There's a verse that says that God will supply all of our needs according to his riches in glory. And I really take that literally as a single person. I'm like, hey, I have these needs and I don't have a husband. I don't have like that person that I can share with every moment of my life.
Yeah.
But you promise that all of my needs are met somehow. And so I look to you to show me how you're going to do that.
It's so beautiful. And I just recently was talking with a friend who got married. And it's crazy that even within the, the first season of marriage, is she's realizing that lesson that you just said, the Lord is the one who fulfills my needs. Now she's married, and so she's getting some of those needs met, but she's still saying, oh my goodness, I'm realizing I can't put that pressure on my spouse to meet all my needs, because that's just exhaustive to a human being. The goal is that we would all learn that lesson, that our needs are met by Christ, so that no matter what relationship we're in, whether it be a friendship or community or a dating relationship or a marriage, we're not suffocating the other person with our expectations and demands. And so you're setting yourself up for happier futures,
Yeah. And so I was taking this opportunity to be proactive about all that, and like right now starting,
So
I think that there's great purpose in every moment of singleness, actually.
Yeah. You're not waiting for your life to begin because you're single. I think that's something that even within the church, we need to make sure that we don't put pressure on single people, like, oh, just you wait, when you get married, then you'll love life or something like that. It's like, that's not God's way,
Oh yeah, totally. But that is such a message that is portrayed through so much, like secular media and everything, is that romance is somehow the goal of life and stuff. And so one thing about this PureHeart challenge is that it's not marriage oriented. I did that purposely. Like sometimes the wait until marriage talk is just very marriage oriented, but that doesn't apply to people like me, for example, that is 34 and single.
Yeah.
Like, what about all those years? It's not like I'm a raging teenager, but just wait till I'm 20, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So anyways, just that idea that no, like marriage is not the solution, but actually Jesus is the solution for what we need in our life. And
I love that. That's
marriage, of course, is a blessing and it's like amazing, but it's not like the goal in life, actually. There's this really cute story of this old woman who is like 90. Someone wrote a blog about this, and she was single her whole life, and then this young guy was asking, it was like a pastor, he was asking her about that, and then she just said, I can't wait until my wedding day. And she was talking about like
joining with Christ
in those moments of, wow, singleness is really hard. Singleness sucks. There's moments that we have of that, and what to do, like how to find Jesus to be the answer for that. It's not just like one time, okay, I know it. It's like continuously.
Yeah.
I need that again, God. Just this weekend I was like, whoa, I'm feeling like it's not so fun right now. And
totally. Another question there that came in kind of around that, like, how does God even care? Does he care about my relational status? Maybe, do you mind talking to that a little bit?
Yeah. And yes, like, I mean, according to his character, he just adores us and loves us so much and cares about every part of us. And so that part is such a significant part. And so, of course, he does.
Yeah.
I believe that with all my heart. I have been asking him to lead me in big decisions of my life since I was quite young, because I just had this belief that he sees all of the future, and so he's better able to help me in those decisions, like jobs, like where to live.
Yeah, right.
And so marriage is so significant. It's more significant than those two huge things. And so, of course, I want to ask him for his leading in that,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm single now, but that just really means that, like, God has never left me lacking or left me wanting in that area, and so he's not surprised by the fact that I'm single, and so he knows that I can be, and he knows that I can be abundantly single, like living with abundance and joy and everything.
I love that. In conversations I've had with single friends over the years, like internally, they kind of go like, is the reason I'm single because something's wrong with me? Is the reason I'm single because God is trying to get me to like learn something already so that I can be single or I can get married?
Oh, of course I relate to that. I've asked him that many times, like, I don't know. One thing for myself is that when I was young, like around 17, like I really, really, my heart's cry, like I wrote in my journal, I've kept all my journals, and I wrote that I really want to know Jesus as first place in my life before marriage. This was my desire. And before that, I had like friends in that place sometimes, I'd go to friends first. But something happened last year where everything was stripped away, and then in that stripping away, he showed me that he really is enough. And so for my own personal journey, like I did want to learn that outside of marriage, because I did struggle with idolizing guys, their attention, and idolizing marriage. And I've been doing a lot of, personal work, like really working on becoming healthy, because I think healthy people, it helps to have healthy relationships. And then, so how come, am I not ready yet,
Absolutely.
But I don't think that that's the case. Like, I think there's so many factors. But he knows, and like if he doesn't let us know why, we don't need to know, we just trust him.
Yeah.
So trustworthy.
If you want, what's that final question that came in? You go ahead.
Perhaps the trickiest of all. I'm told we need sexual release. Is this true? Ways to fight it. Yeah, this is very countercultural, but for me, what I learned, like I personally decided to shut the door on masturbation in my life, and there were several reasons why I decided to do that. I really felt that masturbation was teaching me wrong ideas about sex, and like really, really showing me that sex was self-serving, which is something that I already really believed through my relationships and stuff like that, and it's just not God's heart, but it was reinforcing something that isn't what he intended. He intended it to be like giving, and lust is the thing that takes from a person and treats someone like a sexual object, but masturbation was kind of reinforcing that for me. And so, and it also is just keeping things woken up. People think that you should release, that's better, but actually I was finding that the memories and the discontentment was more big in times when I had that door open to masturbation. And so, but people have, who know that I'm celibate, they've asked me, they've been like, aren't you fiending? This is the idea that you must feed this, you must express this. But I've had this door shut for some time now, and I honestly feel more content. Like, there's moments of like really intense times where my sex drive is, pay attention to me. And I've had to really like walk through that. It's usually like an hour or something where honestly I pray, and because I just have much more enjoyed my life with that door shut. So
amazing.
Yeah.
I love how you link it to, like the habits that you build right now, how it's not just a physical thing, but it's linked to a mindset about the purpose of sex. And I think that when we have a better understanding of the purpose of sex, that sex itself it's not dirty, it's not bad, but it's powerful, and it's meant to link a husband and wife.
And just learning how to master the sex drive is really, really important. I lived for so many of my years of my life being mastered by my sex drive, literally being driven by it, to a point where when I didn't even want to be driven in that direction, it was so like my master that I couldn't really not, you know? And
Yeah.
that's what this has been is like, oh man, it says in James that we're supposed to bridle all parts of our body, our tongue it's speaking specifically about, but that definitely means our sex drive too. And I just love my life so much that I master that now.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
Amazing.
I'm the boss. It's not the boss of me, you know? Because that just like, even in marriage, if you wait until marriage to deal with that, if you have like a very outspoken, I don't know, bridleless sex drive,
Yeah.
then it's not going to be good. Like,
Totally.
it's going to catastrophic, you know? So
Absolutely.
deal with it now. And
that habit of thinking that my sex drive must be fulfilled and other people like either I'll take care of it or someone else has to do it for me. It's like in seasons of marriage, I mean, now we've been married for, it's coming up 13 years, like 12, 13. Anyway, it's like there are seasons when it's just like one of us can't be available. And so then what are we going to do? Like, does that make us get sulky? Does that make us take revenge? Does that make us make excuses for unfaithfulness? Right? Like, because if your sex drive is, like you're saying, if it masters you, then you will end up damaging your relationships in order to get what you think you deserve.
On the other side is that sometimes I talk to women here who they respond to that by kind of disdaining their sex drive, like asking God to take it away, like
Right.
get it away from you, you know. And that's part of the purity challenge too, is that like I believe it's God-given, and so it's good, and so I don't hate it.
Yeah.
You know, even though it's so frustrating sometimes, it's like, why do I have this?
Yeah.
As a single person, indefinite single person. But no, it's God-given, and so I trust you with it. You are my maker, and you know how to do this. You knew how long I was going to be single, so you know how I can walk this out.
Way to go.
Yeah.
That's so good. And it's such a far more, I think, empowered mindset than the one that would just say, just do whatever you want, whenever you want, you know, get what you need.
Because that, like, that's how I lived, and it ended me up in captivity. I'm not kidding. I know the end of that road, and so that's why I really cringe when I see that being advertised, because it looks so good in the beginning, but the end is so terrible. That was the end of my 10 years, and that's why I'm just like, don't go down that road, no matter how good it looks.
Way to go. I love it. Call it out. Yeah.
Got to play that out, and then you see what's at the end of it, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas you play out anything that God has, which has a lot of like waiting and like mastering yourself, like really hard things. But when you play that out to the end, like the end of that road is so good.
Wow. I love that perspective. Oh my goodness. It's so hopeful. And how beautiful, you know, for those who are watching who you think like, well, yeah, you can say that, but like I've made all these decisions. I have these horrible habits. I'm addicted to things. But it's like, okay, well, sitting right here with us is somebody who's saying, that was me. And God knows how to walk you back through that process and can bring you into healing and restoration. And like, no one can look you in the face and look in your eyes and say like you go like, really, that's your story? Like, you look so happy. You look so free, you know? And I know you're not perfect, but it's like, that's the restoring kind heart of God, is to bring people into freedom.